Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another championship prediction video. We are in to game week 27. 27. Wow, we've done a lot of these episodes. We've got a lot of things right. We've got a lot of things wrong, mostly wrong. But today, in today's video, one of us are very happy. The other one, not so much. Let's have a look at Ollie's face to see which way it's gone.
Oh, I'm happy. I am feeling it. As in, you know, you've said it there. Most weeks we get a couple of things right, a lot of things wrong. I like to think I at least achieved parity. I got as many things right as I got wrong. Maybe even more. Maybe more things right than I got wrong, including a perfect banker. Beautiful.
You did get a perfect banker. You also got a few other perfect scores as well, but we will get there. Let me first talk about final runner because, Ollie, I am going to make everyone's life just that little bit better. Now, final runner is the UK's 100% official last person standing game. We used to call it last man standing back in my day, but you can't do those things anymore, can you?
You're an old man, Nick. You're an old man and we're leaving you in the past.
Yes, exactly. Now, it's usually £5 to enter this, but Final Runner are giving everybody that watches this video one free entry for the 13th of January game. So all you have to do is click the link in the description and go to the 13th of January game. It's literally only a couple of days away, so make sure you do it ASAP. If you're watching this live, don't go away. Don't go anywhere right now because you're going to want to see this. However, if you're watching this after the live, pauses, go over, click the link, get yourself set up. All you need to do is enter the code that I'm going to say in a second, and then you need to pick a team. You can't pick that team twice, and then the final runner at the end of it all will win £100. Now, if you think £100 is nothing, then you've got way too much money. Way too much money. I don't want to be a friend either because £100 means the world to most people. However, the thing is, the reason why it's £100 is because this is a free game and Final Runner have put this £100 up. So normally you put a fiver in and everybody accumulates that cash pot. So it could be over 100, could be over 200 in future. But for the free link, all you need to do is go on to finalrunner.com and put in FR tweet. That is the promo code to get a free game. A free game because we've already played it. Are we both still in?
I think we're both still in. I think, you know, for the first time, both of us have done relatively good predictions. And this is not like us. Surely we'll both be out soon.
Yeah, probably. But that's probably because it's Premier League and not the Championship. Because, as we already know, the Championship is the hardest league in the world to predict. Now, finally, just before we get into it, follow them on Twitter at finalrunner.com. That's finalrunner.com. And this competition ends on the 7th, Friday the 13th of January. Ooh, Friday the 13th. But that'll make you remember 7 p.m. Friday the 13th. Get on it before there. Anyway, links in the description. Let's crack on with the video, Ollie, and I'll let you talk about the results.
Oh, isn't it beautiful? You know, as you can see there on the screen, Nick didn't have his best week. There are no perfect scores in there, albeit for measly, decent results. But as we look through that Ollie list, it is beautiful to see getting 1, 2, 3, 4 perfect results.
There's way too many perfect results there, Ollie.
Perfect scores and a perfect banker. It is a beautiful week. It is 16 points to 4. And what has that done to the league table, Nick? What is, you know, I think you were ahead at some point, weren't you, when we were looking at
I've been ahead. Don't get above your station. I've been ahead pretty much all season. But you wouldn't think of it right now. Look at this. Look at it. 13 points in front. You were 1 point in front after the last game week. Now you are 13 points in front.
Literally, I think it's 2 game weeks ago. I was 10 behind. It has been a hell of a turnaround. I have been on form, which isn't
How
like
has it happened?
I don't know, to be honest. It's been Christmas, and maybe I was predicting drunk, and maybe that's what's helped me out. Maybe I need to do that more. But I'm not the only one who had a good week. Our viewers were particularly good as well. We had some really strong scores out there. You know, lots of people getting into double figures. Unfortunately, I'm not going to have time to shout at everyone because lots of people had a good week. But in particular, I just shout out 𝗍𝗯𝗂𝐺𝐵𝐿𝐿𝐵, who got 12, JohnEgan.com got 12, 𝗍𝗿𝗿𝗄𝐺 got 12, Keith Whitaker, who has always been towards top of our leaderboard, got 13. But the winner, 14-point winner, and definitely worthy of a shout out. I think it's the second time since the World Cup, so he's definitely found his form. Wolfgang Bailey, a great effort. Not quite as good as me, but a very good 14 points anyway.
How can I say 16 points? It's just too many points. Give other people some points, mate. God.
Nah, mate.
I'll let everybody in who's watching this video in a little bit of a secret. Now, it's about 2 weeks since the craziness of the last game week, and I went out for a curry, and to drown my sorrows after those results came in, because honestly, I've not been this annoyed all season. Like Ollie picking up 16 points. Let me just pop it up on screen again for 1 second, because there were so many things that didn't go for me. And where is it? Which one was it now? Because you were having
it was Preston.
Preston, Stoke City, Preston. That Shed Evans last second goal gained you 3 points and lost me 3 points. So you would have been on 13. I would have been on 7. That certainly would have been slightly better for me, but wasn't to be. Let's stop moaning and let's start getting on with the predictions, Ollie. So first game is Rotherham versus Blackburn Rovers. Now, what are you making of this game, mate?
Yeah, this is a tricky one. You know, Rotherham haven't won in 7. I think they've conceded 18 in those games. And I've done the maths. That's apparently 2.6 goals per game. And in that time, they've only scored 5, which I work out to be 0.7 goals per game. That includes getting hammered 4-1 at a team in League One. This is not great. There is some good news for Rotherham. I think Sean Morrison has come in to shore up the defence, and I think that's a fairly decent move for them. But until I've seen it, until I know that he's there and he's in form, I will not be getting with Rotherham. I just don't think at this moment in time they're a very good team. Blackburn are unpredictable. They either win or they lose. This is one that, for me, they're probably going to win. I've gone a very comfortable win, and I'm going early. Banker! You've got to commit sometimes, and I think this, for me, is the game where I'm most confident in Blackburn winning it. I know I don't want them to win. I don't think you want them to win, Nick. You know, as United fans, we would very much like them not to be getting any points on the board, to be honest, at any time soon. But I just don't think Rotherham have got enough to keep them out.
No, I think you're right. I think Rotherham, at this moment in time, they're so bad. They're conceding so many goals, and it just almost feels like it's inevitable every single week. So I hope it turns for them. I really do. But right now, I can't see anything other than either a 2-0 Blackburn win or a 4-0 Blackburn win. Probably a 4-0 Blackburn win, seeing as Ollie's predicted it. Let's move on to Bristol City versus Birmingham City. And what's that, Ollie?
It's a battle of the cities, Nick.
Battle of the cities, mate. Yeah. So excited for a battle of the cities. We all love a battle of the cities. No one's put it in the comments. No one's put it in the comments.
They're not ahead of us. You know what I mean? They need to. Yeah, I saw obviously the video that you did with Hal. You were talking about your predictions, what you'd done for the league. You set him up perfectly, but even he didn't know it was a battle of the cities, Nick.
No, he didn't. It did not.
It's not catching on.
But it's not as obviously Battle of the Cities happens quite often. Battle of the Towns, that's where it's at, and we had one of them last week. So hopefully we get another Battle of the Towns soon. But what are you making of this game, mate?
So I've gone back, looked at some of the history. So Birmingham apparently have won 3 in a row against Bristol City. They beat them 3-0 at home earlier this season. Bristol City haven't won in 5 in all competitions. They've not won in their last 8 games at home. Now, Birmingham aren't in great form. They've lost 3 in a row. So this is 2 teams really coming at this in poor form. But for me, I think one of these teams just has a better level than the other. I don't think Bristol City are a particularly good side. So I'm going for Birmingham to triumph in the Battle of the Cities, 1-0. Close game, but Birmingham to end their run.
Fair enough, mate. Fair enough. And there it is. I've gone for 1-1. You've gone for 1-0. Let's see what appertains. Now, let's move on to Burnley versus Coventry City. Now, is anyone going to stop Burnley?
No. Sorry, let me drag that out a little bit more so there's some tension. Ask me again, Nick.
Ollie, is anybody going to stop Burnley?
Oh, well, no, I don't think they are, Nick. For me, you know, I've said this before. I was talking on Turf Moorhouse earlier in the week where we were discussing the state of the Championship and particularly the Championship promotion race. And I think Burnley probably are the standout team. You know, they've got a confident lead now. And they're in fantastic form. You know, they've won 6 in a row in the league. They've gone away from home and dominated Bournemouth, who aren't doing badly in the Premier League right now. They're a Premier League side in everything but name. And very soon they will be a Premier League side in name again. But Coventry, you know, we all thought they were going to kick on. I thought they were in a very good space for the playoffs before the World Cup. But since then, they've only won 1. They've lost non-league Wrexham in the FA Cup. I think they're better than this current run of form. I think they can cause Burnley problems, but I don't think they can beat them. I don't think there's any chance they'll beat them, in all honesty. I'm going for a home win in a really entertaining game.
Yeah, I've gone for something very similar. I do think that Burnley will stumble at some point, but it might take 3/4 of the season, 4/5 of the season. Yeah, I can see Burnley taking this game, no problem at all. But you never know with Coventry. You never know.
No, you don't.
Now, let's move on to talking about Cardiff City versus Wigan Athletic. Why couldn't it have been a City? Why couldn't it have been a City?
Or a Battle of the Athletics could be fun.
That would be so much better.
That's what we need. Who are the other? Let's get thinking on who the other Athletics are, and then we'll see if we can get them together. This is weird, though. You know, Cardiff are a weird side. Since the World Cup, I think they've got 5 draws and defeat. They've then gone for a 2-0 lead against Leeds in the Cup and thrown it away to make sure they draw again because they just love drawing. But Wigan are on an even worse run. Wigan, 4 in a row that they've lost. I just don't think they're very good. I think they're on the sort of one-way ticket back to League One, in all honesty. I think they need a rebuild and they really need to put some work in to try and steady the ship that is just their team because it's just not happening for them. I'm going for a home win. I don't think Cardiff are particularly good, but I think they're better than Wigan. I'm going 1-0, a close game, boring game, Cardiff to win it.
Yeah, I agree. I've gone for similar scoreline. I just think Wigan are really, really bad. I'm not putting too much weight behind Cardiff, but I think Wigan are really, really bad. Now, we've got Hull City versus Huddersfield Town. What are you making on this one?
I've got a controversial opinion for you, Nick.
Okay.
Hull are quite good now.
Yeah, I don't like it.
It.
Yeah, they are a bit good, aren't they? Because also my boss is a Hull City fan, and every time he said they were going to win, they lost. So I always went with him for my prediction, and I've stopped going with him. He said that they're going to win again. I've not gone for a Hull City win.
Ooh, I have. Spoiler alert, I have indeed. You know, they've got some fantastic results in there. They've got draws with Sunderland and Watford, which obviously are excellent for a team down there fighting at the bottom. They've won away at Birmingham, won away at Wigan, 2 great results, and they're moving in the right direction under 𝐍𝗶𝗃. Huddersfield themselves, though, have picked up. I thought they were relegation goners. I'd written them off, but actually they're right back in the fight and have every chance of staying up, to be honest. I think they're in a really good position to kick on, but I don't think this is the game for them. I'm really putting a lot of stock in this upturning form from Hull. And I've actually gone big on this. And this is probably my most outlandish prediction. And I've got way carried away. But I've gone for a very comfortable Hull win. 3-0 at home. As long as Estupiñán is on form, I know that Hull can get the goals.
Yeah, I agree. It could easily happen, but I'm putting my stock in Hull City not winning because my boss said that they were going to win. One thing that I will say, though, I don't know if people are interested, but I'll say it anyway. Hull City for 𝗵𝗄𝐺 sing a very funny song. I don't know if you're aware of this.
I'm not aware of this.
So 𝗵𝗄𝐺, when he played for Hull, said in a press conference, I don't know what was said before that his nan was from Hull, and everybody found it fantastic. So they sing 𝗵𝗄𝐺, his nan is from Hull. Fantastic. Nice. That is a football song. That is what we do as football fans. Come up with the daftest songs, and you know what? I love it. I absolutely do.
I respect that.
Yeah. Now let's move on to Luton Town versus West Bromwich Albion. Not many Albions in the league as well, or in the whole 92.
Brighton and Hove, but I don't think they're going to be coming down very soon for us to be able to include them in this kind of chat. So weird game though. This is two teams. I think from having a quick look, they've both won 3 in a row. They both drew in the FA Cup. They're both, I think, just outside the playoffs, possibly 7th and 8th, 7th and 9th, something like that. I think in terms of the overall fight, I'm expecting West Brom to finish above Luton. I think their form since 𝗵𝗵𝗂𝗃's come in has been excellent. Obviously, it's taken them right up the league. And I think they're a very strong side. But you don't want to go to Luton away. Like, that's one of the worst games of the season for any team. They make it a battle. They're a really good side as well. They can get it down and play when they want to. And I think both teams will be fairly happy with a draw, and I think that's what they're going to get.
Yep. I think that West Brom may just edge this, but it could go anywhere, this. It really, really could. So fair play for sitting on the fence there, Ollie. Fair play. Now, let's move on to talking about Middlesbrough versus Ollie's favourite team, Millwall.
Ollie's favourite team, Millwall, indeed, but they will be falling out with me because it's a while since I've predicted a great result for them. Obviously, I got them in my perfect banker last week to beat Rotherham, but I don't think I said a word about Millwall and just slagged off Rotherham, similar to what I did this week. So maybe we've got a least favourite team that go alongside Millwall, but they're not going to like me this week. You know, they are unbeaten in the last 4 against Middlesbrough. They beat them 2-0 earlier this season, but obviously that's a very different Middlesbrough who were still in the midst of their crisis. But under Michael Carrick, they are flying. I know they got battered by Brighton, but I still think they're a great side. They're on a great run of form. I'm confident. I think they're the team I'm most confident will definitely be in the playoffs. Of every team that's in the playoffs right now, Middlesbrough, the one I'm most confident will definitely be there come May. They've scored 9 goals in their last 3, so I think this will be a big home win. I think it's going to be a statement of intent, and I think they're going to do it 4-1.
In style. I think they've been scoring 3s and 4s every week, Middlesbrough. I think this week is the one where it doesn't quite perfectly match up and they just win 2-0. Battle of the FCs. I like it. I'm here for it.
We'll get that.
I really am. We need to remember that for next time. Very, very good, Joachim. I love that. Next up, let's talk about all things Preston North End versus all things Norwich City. David Wagner, new Norwich manager. What do you make of that?
Yeah, I quite like it. It just feels right. You know, when you think about Norwich, I'm shocked that he's not already managed them. It just feels like a Norwich thing. I honestly had to check. I saw it come up on my phone. I was like, oh, he's gone back there. And somebody said he's never been there before. I thought, of course he has. But yeah, I think that'll be a good move. I think it'll be sensible for them. Obviously, it's not worked out for him in his first game. They lost at home to Blackburn in the FA Cup, which isn't the start he would have wanted. But for me, we need to talk about Preston, and we need to talk about Preston's home record. They've got 13 points at home from 13 games. That's 3 wins, 4 draws, 6 defeats. They've lost their last 3 at home in a row, conceding 7 goals. Now, whatever I think of Norwich, you know, are they a crisis club? Are they going to turn it around? Are they going to get new manager bounce? I don't know. But I know that Preston at home are not a strong team. They're somebody that you probably think you can go and you can get a result. And that's what Norwich will be thinking. They've got the players on the day to be fantastic when they want to be, if it all clicks. They can score goals. They can just go out and batter teams. And I think it's possible they do that this weekend. And your face said that I'm talking absolute nonsense.
Such nonsense. 3-0 Ollie's gone for. And you said about an outlandish scoreline earlier on. This is the one that I thought you were going to say was outlandish. Wowzers. Norwich have been dreadful. And I think they're going to get better. under Wagner, but this is not the game that they're going to score 3 goals in away from home.
This is the one. I think this is the one.
Well, to be fair, mate, you are, as of right now, an absolute G at your predictions. So maybe it's going to come true.
I've earned the right to say some stupid things, I think, Nick. That's where we're at. I've earned the right now. I'm allowed to be an idiot.
You are. You absolutely are. And I hope you're an idiot when it comes to kind of Monday, Tuesday, possibly, when all the games are over. Next up, we've got Reading FC versus QPR FC. Battle of the FCs? It was a stretch. It was a big stretch.
You're reaching, because I would argue that QPR are actually QP Rangers.
I know. I was just joking. I was doing a joke, but
however,
let's move on from that.
Speaking of potential crisis clubs, we said Norwich were possibly a crisis club. QPR FC, definitely a potential crisis club. I think they've got 1 win in their last 11. They lost to League One mid-table fodder Fleetwood in the FA Cup. 𝗍𝗁 is not really having the impact that they want. I was actually quite impressed with them against United. I thought they did a really good job of pressing high, pinning us back, and really forcing us to play the game on their terms. They could impose themselves for about 45 minutes. And I thought the second half, United came onto them. Game state plays a massive part in that. And they nearly saw it out and were so close to getting that 3 points and what would have been a massive result for them. But unfortunately, I haven't seen enough to say that they've snapped out of their funk, that they're ready to go, that they're going to kick on. Some rumours that they're the team who were going to be taking Jamal Lowe. If they bring him in, that'll be a huge move. I think he's a fantastic player, and it'd be a great addition to what is an already absolutely stacked forward line. Whereas Reading are ticking along fine. They're the only team in the division that I think are just mid-table. I don't think they're going to fight for the playoffs. Don't think they're going to get dragged into a relegation battle. They're just mid-table. Everything about them smacks of mid-table. And that, at the start of the season, would have been everything they wanted, because I'd got them as relegation fodder, and they've overperformed massively. And I think their stability will overrun QPR's chaos. They'll win it 1-0.
Fair enough. Oh, do you know what? I loved everything you just said then. And I almost want to change my opinion to what yours is. Very, very well done, Ali. Very, very well done. Let's move on to talking about...
To be honest, I felt it myself. I was like, I'm enjoying talking about Reading. I got into my line. I was like, chaos against stability. And then I've outed myself by just then fanboying over my own words and making it all bad again. I think
you now have a favourite second team, and that is now Reading after that. Really enjoyed it.
Maybe. Yeah, talking about them, they've avoided relegation and they're now a stable side. It's just what they want to hear.
To be fair, when you were saying all that, I was just thinking that's just a meh team. And nobody wants to be a meh team. Let's either battle for promotion or battle for relegation. No one wants to finish 12th. Sheffield United versus Stoke City right now. Stoke are a massively meh team for me. And when Alex Neil went to Stoke, I was thinking this is the start of a bit of a revolution. Yeah. It's not happened, and they're coming to Bramall Lane, and we'll see what happens, shall we?
Yeah, we will indeed. I've just been on the EFL debate with 𝗍𝗿𝗂𝗃 and a guy called Brad from Huddersfield, and I can only apologise, Brad, that I've forgotten what your at is. Forgive me.
I know who you're talking about, but I don't know his.
However, Brad made some really interesting points, but one of his shouts, yes, Brad Barber, that's exactly it. But one of his
even on the video.
I know. I really should have remembered, but he shouted Stoke out for relegation. And I think that's a huge call. Obviously, they're not a million miles away at the minute. Maybe they're going to sleepwalk down. But that is a huge shout for somebody to make, especially just before they come to Bramall Lane, because that just feels like he's deliberately tried to jinx me. But, United have been on a great form. We had 5 wins in a row. Poor performance at QPR, but we rescued the point. Bounced back with a great performance against Millwall. For me, I think that's enough. I think at home, we'll get over the line. It's a big shout from Malcolm, but I'm going United. I think 2-0. I completely understand why Johnny's going otherwise, because obviously, as a Burnley man, he's got to be rooting against it a little bit.
I was thinking the same about Malcolm, and then I saw his avatar, and I'm like, he's a Stoke City fan. Johnny being a Burnley fan, fair enough. 2-0, 2-1, 3-1. All the money's on the Blades for this weekend, but you never know. You never know. But Oliver, man, I have gone for a 2-1 Blades win and Banker. Banking the blades. Yes,
I
yes.
don't like it, Nick. I don't like it.
I'll let you in on a
No.
little secret. Another secret, a second secret of the video. I was going to bank a Borough and I completely forgot. So let's go with the Blades 2-1. They're the only team that I see winning in the next few. But yeah, or at least being a banker. So yeah, let's move on from me forgetting stuff and talk about.
I'm just not a fan of that United banker. I've never been more certain we're not going to win than when you bankered us.
Yeah, let's move on. Last time I banked it, we won, so don't give me none of that. Sheffield United versus Sheffield United. Sunderland, you're putting Sheffield United back in my head. Sunderland versus Swansea City. Now, Ollie, Sunderland, bit up and down, but solid.
Generally, just trajecting in the right direction, to be honest. They're one of them teams that are obviously on an upward trajectory. They're a team that have come out of League One and are currently smashing it in the Championship. You know, we've got to give all the due they deserve. They've spent most of this season without any strikers. And then as soon as the strikers have got fit, Everton have taken Ellis Sims away. So everything now is just riding on the shoulders of Ross Stewart. Now, Ross Stewart's a great player. He's more than enough to carry Sunderland forward, don't get me wrong. And they're in a great spot for the playoffs. I do think they'll probably just miss out. They'll still see this as a good season, and I still think they'll build and probably build on it for next season and have a real good go, but probably not this year. Whereas Swansea, they had a fantastic run. They've dropped the level. They're going to be up and down, but I also don't see them really making any massive impact. I think it'll be a really entertaining game, though, this. I think these are two very good sides on their day, and I'd like to see them both come at it. If I was a neutral, this is probably the game I'd watch. I think it's going to be 2-2. And I think both teams will be fairly happy with that.
Yeah, fair enough, mate. I've gone for a big 3-1 Sunderland win. Sunderland seem to be winning lots of games, 3-1s and 4-1s. So I'll go for it again. Now, do you know what I was going to say? Sunderland, before the start of the season, I called them to have a good season, be in the playoffs, and then just miss out. Hal called me stupid. And I think right at this moment in time, they're looking good for it. I think you're right. I think they might have a little bit of a downward turn, and I think they might just drop to kind of 9th, 10th, something like that. But I like Sunderland. I've got a lot of respect for Sunderland. So if they do finish in the playoffs, I'll be quite happy. Now let's move on to talking about Watford FC versus Blackpool FC. And what is it, Ollie?
It's a battle of the FCs.
Oh, I'm liking this. I'm liking this a lot.
Yeah, well, you know, I have a famous catchphrase, and M. Clinton knows exactly what the catchphrase is. He was straight in Watford, innit?
Watford, innit?
You know, they've got a squad absolutely decimated by injuries at the minute. I think I was talking to someone the other day who said they got about 15 out, including all of their first choice midfield. But, you know, I've seen Udinese have made a few signings, so I'm fairly confident they'll have a fully fit side of random loanies very soon through the door. So let's not get our violins out too quickly. But Blackpool have done some great business. Is it Tommy Tribal that they've bought in today? Yep. Josh Bowler came back, and obviously what a player he is. So I think this is going to fire. Blackpool, for me, have just completely taken themselves out of the relegation battle. I think those two signings will see them completely rise, and I'm not worried about them at all.
Wow.
But in this game, I have no idea what to predict. Literally, it could be any result. It's Watford in it. And so, when you don't know, just assume Watford will turn up and have a good one, because they're just as likely to do that as doing anything else.
Yep, there we go. Ollie's gone for 3-1. I've gone for 3-0. Watford in it. Watford. I think we should leave it there, mate. Oh, this has been a long old video, but we've had some very, very good laughs along the way. So thank you very much for being here, Ollie. And thank you, everybody, for tuning in for the live. And hopefully, everybody enjoys it and puts in the comments your predictions. Thank you very much for watching. See you next time.